Welcome to the At Cause podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Kevin Cougar. I'm Nelson Anderson, and we run Full Sail Media. So thanks for joining us today. We're getting into some fun stuff today.
Absolutely.
And I would like to just kick it off with, why a lot of people come to us for marketing. And one of the reasons people come to us is they say, hey, my marketing's not working. These marketing tactics that I'm employing are not working.
Right.
So what we've found is that they got off to a bad start, right? It's not that they're necessarily doing anything wrong. However, they're just doing it with the wrong audience.
Sure.
So we're going to dive in a little bit to what that looks like and how we create success before we even start doing any work, right? So one of the things that we found that we've done that has worked really well is creating a brand positioning statement. And Kevin kicks this off. He does this really well. So I want you to explain what a brand positioning, like it's a whole little workshop, right? And you sit down with a brand and you walk them through this. So tell me what it is, tell me how it works, and
Sure. Well, at a high level, brand positioning is exactly what it sounds like. It's taking a position in your market that is unique and identified as just what makes you special. So it takes your key attributes, your key benefits, the things that are the differentiators, as the jargon would say, differentiators, the things that make you different. And we spin up 3 and sometimes more statements that are just a paragraph long that are unique to your business that say, here is who we are and here is what we offer and what we do.
Yeah.
And the reason that is important, I mean, there are many reasons that that's important, but it's a great place to put guardrails up to say, here's our identity in our space and here's what makes us unique. And oftentimes businesses skip over this step and run straight to market without thinking about what they offer that's special.
Right.
And brand positioning helps them do that. And like you said, when we do a brand positioning workshop, and we do it a little differently, I think, than everybody. There are lots of different ways of doing positioning. Some people focus on, include a style guide. Some people include a competitive landscape, a look at what the competitive landscape looks like. We specifically spend time looking at what positions you adjacent to your highest or most likely buying avatars or buying personas. And that's the whole game for us, is finding out how to connect to your ideal customer.
Yeah.
And so we spend a couple of hours in discovery, have a great, robust conversation, lots of questions, lots of dialogue back and forth. And we come away with ideas about your core values and who you are as an organization. And we put those into play in brand positioning.
So, Kevin, let me just rewind the tape because you said a lot right there. So one of the things that you talked about is like, hey, what's your unique identifiers? What do you do different?
Sure.
What's your unique position in the market? And I think that, as most entrepreneurs or small business owners say, is like, I service the customer really well, right? It's my service that sets me apart. And I'm an entrepreneur. I started as 3 people.
Right.
And I've spun off other businesses, and the owner always has the minus touch, right?
Sure.
That special thing that attracts other people to you that you then need to package and hand off to somebody else.
Sure.
Because if you don't want to be in the operations, if you want a scalable business, you're going to have to get really clear about what it is that has made you successful to this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wouldn't suggest doing this brand positioning like right out the gate.
Get to know yourself a little bit.
Get some reps under your belt. Sell some stuff, right? Have an actual business, right?
Sure.
And then let's walk through that process.
Absolutely.
So what give me an idea of what a proper statement would be outside of I serve people real good.
Right. And you hit the nail on the head. People come out typically and say, this is the thing that makes me special. And it is often something that isn't actually all that unique. It's something that everybody says makes them special. And that is the first hurdle to jump.
I mean, hey, I'm guilty. I did this for years and years and years. I mean, that was our value proposition is, we get back to people really quick.
Sure.
Right?
Which is a great value proposition.
Yeah.
And specificity, however you say that word, is really important. Being specific about what makes you different is the thing that's going to make your branding position stand out.
Right.
Looking for those qualities that the next guy doesn't have, because there's almost an assumed quality of good service. Otherwise, you're not in business. I mean, you're not in business.
You nailed it. Yeah.
And so getting past the assumed qualities or the thing that the neighbor down the street also has, and getting specifically into what you offer and putting that into a powerful statement is the whole ball game.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example because I have one pulled up from Amazon. They say, for consumers who want to purchase a wide range of products online with quick delivery, Amazon provides a one-stop online shopping site. Amazon sets itself apart from the other online retailers with its customer obsession, passion for innovation, and commitment to operational excellence. And I think it's those last 3 bites: customer obsession, passion for innovation, and commitment to operational excellence that says something specific about them. Not just we service the client well, but we do it here in this way. Here's how we do it. This is where the metal meets the road. And I think that's super important for creating a brand positioning, is getting specific.
Yeah. I think one of the things that you said before also was like, it has to be true. And I mean, you find that with Amazon is like, that's actually the case.
Right. Got to be truthful. Don't tell lies.
Yeah, totally. So outside of where you want to be is getting clear about where you are today.
Yeah.
And it's okay that you're not where you want to be. We never will be, right?
Sure.
But let's document where we are and be clear about it.
It's important to have aspirational values as a company, things that you want to grow and aspire to.
Yeah.
But it's also important to be careful about putting those in your statement, because if your statement doesn't resonate with your customer's experience of you, then you lose trust. And trust is the whole game.
Right.
They have to trust you in order to stay with you for the long term. And that's the point. Is not just about closing a deal or selling a product. It's about building a relationship for the long haul and turning them into your advocate. That is the most important. And that comes from trust. And that comes from having a position or claiming a position that actually resonates and is truthful.
Yeah. So I would argue that before you even jump into brand position, to find out who the brand is, they have to find out who they are as a brand, right? And so talk to me about how to unpack, because sometimes we need somebody else to read the label, right?
Sure.
We're in this jar. We do all this good stuff, but we're so busy and we're doing this great work, and we need somebody on the other side of the label, other side of the jar, reading the label.
I can't read my own label is one of my favorite quotes of yours. I like that a great deal. There are a number of ways to jump into a positioning and take a look at who you are as an organization. My favorite happens to be the topic of the conversation today, so thanks for the cue into it. We're talking today a little bit about archetypes, and using archetypes to build a bridge to your customer. And archetypes is a big word, and if you've never heard it before, essentially it is the traits, behaviors, and values that make up a personality.
Okay.
And a personality being a big term for it could be characters in a story or in a play. I got my start in the theatrical background. It's where I first became aware of archetypes.
So this is not typical branding process, right?
I would say that there are books about it as archetypes used for branding. So there is a going concept out there, but I would say that it is an unsung hero. I don't think it's a tool that is conventionally unleashed. I don't think that a small and medium-sized business has been presented with the opportunity to say, hey, what's your archetype? And get to know yourself through that lens. But it's something that is valuable for a reason. And like I said, I came from a theater background where archetypes were used to define people and characters and relationships, and talk about if you are archetype A, you relate to someone who is archetype B in a certain way, and here's how the story unfolds. And because really good marketing is really just really good storytelling, it makes sense that archetypes would be a really special tool to use in your toolbox. And so Carl Jung is, I believe how you say his last name, is a psychologist from like 200 years ago. I didn't know the guy, but
No, I swore
there.
you were 150 at least.
He came up with 12 archetypes, and if you put me on spot, I can't list all 12 of them, but came up with 12 archetypes that cover the whole spectrum of archetypes that you might land on.
Give me a couple.
Okay, jester,
I'm gonna count.
lover, explorer, companion, innocent, sage, magician, creator. Did I say companion?
I don't know. I'm just counting.
Companion.
I got 8. That's pretty good.
Okay, good. I'll take it. That might be my high score for that.
Good job.
And so you get to choose as a person. You get to choose which one you gravitate towards when you're working on like a theatrical production. But it makes total sense then as a business that you would choose which archetypes you gravitate towards as a business. And I'll give you an example. So for Lego, if you think about the values of that company or what comes to life, and this is why they're so universal, is because if you look at a company, you can say, okay, here's some things that Lego believes in. What do you think they believe in?
Fun,
absolutely. Play, creation.
Yeah.
These are the things that Lego believes in because these are the things that they do. There's an archetype, which is jester. That lines up with those values. And so I would have it that and this is just a guess, an assumption, that Lego's archetype is jester.
Yeah.
And the reason that one of the reasons they're so universal is that you can take any of the archetypes, you can say lover, for example, and you can likely think of certain traits, beliefs, and values that come to mind. And they don't have to, it's not a checklist of this has to be this, but it is a list of values and beliefs and traits that come to mind for that archetype. So for lover, it might be things like passion. It might be things like drive. It might be things like relationship. It might be any number of things. And the point is to look at yourself as a company when you think about your core values and the values of your products and services and your messaging, which archetype you likely belong to and that resonates with your customers. And the reason that is important is because it tells you a wealth of information about how you should market, how you should message, what should go into your marketing mix, when you should deliver messages, all of those things, so that it can resonate with your buying persona.
I love that. So as far as you one of the things that you also said in there, like with core values, mission, vision, all that should be kind of figured out already, right?
If you haven't done it, do it. I don't know an organization that hasn't run into the concept of mission, vision, values. It's something that we certainly believe that is it's paramount to step number one. Because if you think about it this way, a mission is where you're going. A vision is how you're getting there. And core values are what you're taking along with you for the ride.
Right.
And so it's like knowing your core values are the things that you're packing in that suitcase that are the most important thing to your company.
Right.
I know that Full Sail believes in our hiring practices based on core values, and we make decisions around. But I think a lot of companies, as long as they're using core values, use them for key and upholding their core values, because it can be really easy to make it a poster that sits on the wall.
Totally.
But brand positioning and archetypes is a place to bring that poster down off the wall and put that stuff into place. So
100%.
Yeah.
It's the and then what?
And then
right?
what?
It's the next step. It's once that's accomplished, is not only can you hire and fire based on core values, you can also attract customers based on core values. But nobody wants to your point, nobody wants to see your core values and say, I'm going to go with them because their core values honesty.
Right.
They're going to be honest with me. No, you have to then turn it into a language, which is what your customer is then going to understand.
Right.
So how do you connect the archetype with the buyer?
Well, that we're going to have a workshop about this. So
how to identify your archetype, and then also
what to do with it.
And then what?
Right. And then
what? The best question that's ever been asked in business. And then what? So what else? How do we find those connections?
Well, the most important thing that you can take away from your archetype is not just who you, because it's great to be able to say, we're explorers. Cool. We're explorers, and we believe in then the list of things that you believe in that show up in your products, your services, in your marketing messaging, in the conversations that you have, the things that you believe in. And the reason that those are important is because we believe at Full Sail that there are 5 buying personas, and we use bank code, something you can look up on your own, but it's something that
bank,
we use. Bank code.
B-A-N-K code.
Code. Yep. We modified it just a little bit because we felt like there was an opportunity to add to it.
Bank.
Bank with a K. Bank. The buying personas are the blueprint buyer, the action buyer, the nurturing buyer, the knowledge buyer, and then the one that we added, which is the possibility buyer. And each of those buying personas, they uphold and believe in a certain set of values, and the values list is long. For each of them, there's 10, 15 different values. For blueprint buyers, they believe in structure, they believe in stability, they believe in plans. That's what the blueprint buyer believes in. Whereas like the nurturing blueprint buyer, or the nurturing buyer rather, believes in relationship and things like that. And so the goal in positioning is to take, and this is my favorite part of it, to be honest with you, is to take the values that your archetype says, here's what we value, and the values of your highest likelihood buying personas, your ideal customer that has these values, and drawing a straight line between those values. Because we believe in this, our buyer believes in this, we're going to take these actions. Those are the tactics. That's the marketing mix. That's the real stuff that you come up with that you can take action on.
And you learn your buyer's language, right? I mean,
absolutely.
that's the idea, is whatever content you're putting out. And this is the secret sauce, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is at the end of the day, my marketing doesn't work because I'm putting out blanket generic offers, right? Not specific to my buyer, out of the mouth of who I am, and embodying exactly that explorer, that jester, that lover, whatever that is.
Absolutely.
And when you attract people like you that want your services, life is so much easier.
Absolutely.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do for our business. That's also what we desire for our customers, is to make sure that they're doing business. Hey guys, we're at this for like our whole lives. We're doing this thing called life. We're working, and we're at work, unfortunately, more than with our loved ones. And we want that experience. I mean, I want it for our business, and I've said it 1,000 times, is we want to work with people that we enjoy working with and we like. And unfortunately, that just doesn't, it's if you're not clear about this, we can get derailed and work with any customer that comes through the door. And that's not always a recipe for success.
Right.
So we're setting up this workshop. I'm super excited about it.
Me too.
Make sure you register. We're going to show you how to create your own archetype. So it's essentially, we're going to set up a mirror. You're going to be able to read your label to see exactly who you are. Kevin's going to walk you through that, walk you through the bank code. But there'll be a link in the comments here. Lou will set that up. Thank you so much, Lou. Lou's the behind the scenes, making sure everything is A-okay. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate all you do. But make sure you like and subscribe us here on this channel. But also find us on the book, on the Instagram, on the LinkedIn. We're mainly on LinkedIn because we're business to business for the most part. And check us out there, fullsail.media. That's where you can find us. And Kevin, I want to thank you so much for today.
It's always
and all the great work.
I'm glad to do it again.
Yeah, all the great work that you're doing, helping people uncover who they are. So it's great work. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks, guys, for joining us at Cause Podcast. Have a great day.